Hello there, my name is EGarcia, and in this podcast I will show how the motion picture camera evolved from its inception to the changes we see going on today. Deception is what the motion picture camera is all about. By capturing images in sequential order and displaying them, our eyes retain the previous image momentarily. The camera takes advantage of this phenomenon called persistence of vision, thus giving us the illusion of motion. From here, camera advancements were affected by other technologies popping up in the film industry. First was the invention of sound recording. In the silent era, cameras were able to move in ways that made shots more interesting. But with the advent of sound recording on film sets, the camera was so noisy that it had to be tucked away so not to be picked up by the recordings. These are some examples of how the sound from the camera was manipulated. Advancements in audio recording gave the freedom back to the motion picture camera. Next up is color. After the Great Depression, to get people back into theaters, the movie industry poured all its resources to make color film. The technology that ended up becoming the standard was 3-strip Technicolor. As the name suggests, cameras record onto 3 different reels of film, one for red, one for blue, and one for green. These are the most prominent of the first film movies in 3-strip Technicolor. Modern day filmmaking is constantly changing. Digital technologies are becoming more and more prominent, mainly because of its low cost and time-saving workflow. Cameras being used today use no film whatsoever. They record to digital media. The first feature film to have a completely digital production and post-production process was George Lucas's Star Wars Episode II: Attack of the Clones. Consequently, this new technology brings its setbacks.
We spent years in the film industry trying to get the camera free. Now suddenly we're tied to cables again.
On this show we've got to plug 7 cables into the camera. An HD, a time code, a gen lock, 2 audios and data.
The camera, to be honest, does feel a bit cumbersome. It's pretty long, it's unwieldy. But already, even since we started, they've made a new zoom lens. It's half the size, half the weight. And next year, the camera's going to be half the size.
I am sure it will improve eventually. Digital is work in progress.
Just like the technologies that plagued the cameras of the early sound era, digital cameras have their own drawbacks. The future of the motion picture camera is constantly being rewritten, but like its predecessors, even the most advanced motion picture camera still relies on its most basic function, creating the illusion of motion. Thank you for listening, and here are my resources for creating this podcast.